and today we're looking at Marvels, a very interesting book not just for Alex Ross's artwork. This book chronicles the emergence of superheroes in the Marvel Universe and the way that everyday people react to them. The book starts in the 1930s with the emergence of the first superhero, the Human Torch, and Namor the Submariner. It goes all the way through to the 70s, which brings us to the modern age of Marvel. I'd read some of Ross's work at DC Comics, so I knew the artwork was going to be top-notch. The question, however, is if there is a writer that can do his artwork justice. So let's find out if this is the case. The book opens with the original Human Torch telling us his origin story. A wise move, as many young readers probably only know the second Human Torch, Johnny Storm. After this, we begin to follow photojournalist Phil Sheldon and see the same events through his eyes. At first, he and his co-worker, J. Jonah Jameson, are some of the few people in New York who don't write the emerging superheroes off as propaganda or hallucinations. After a very public clash between Namor and the Human Torch, tension builds between him and his fiancée, because he feels impotent in the face of such creatures, stating that a man who can't protect his family has no right to have one. So how can he start a family when such creatures are the potential threats out there? But then one man emerges who changes the public opinion of superheroes. A Superman like the Torch and Namor, but at the same time one of us. Steve Rogers, Captain America. And when the previous two Marvels joined forces to fight the Axis as well, the way they were viewed was quickly changed as well. And so we see the various big milestones in Marvel's history through the eyes of the man on the street. From the mutant scare, the growing fear and distrust of superheroes, to the arrival of Galactus and the cynical blasé age that followed.
The verdict.
Marvels is very well written. It draws on Marvel's rich comic book history and shows us well-known or maybe forgotten events in a fresh light, the eyes of the everyman. You see the superheroes as we would see them if they were real. And it's a pretty different picture from what we see when we're reading comic books, obviously. Sheldon's choices in this book are organic. You may not agree with what he does, but you can understand why he does it in some points. His journey is a fascinating one because it shows us not just how the Marvel Universe works and evolves, but how people in general work and evolve, how people's opinions change, how the way we view things change from generation to generation. One of the most heart-wrenching moments for me is when Sheldon, who's been a very strong anti-mutant supporter, finds out that one of his girls has befriended a little mutant girl and that they've brought her home to live in their basement because she couldn't go anywhere else. And then he finds out that the girl disappears after a night of riots that were going straight for his house. And it also says, you know, the people around me are my friends and neighbors, but I know if they know I have a mutant in my house, they're going to burn down my house with my family in it. It's very interesting. It's very scary as well because there are so many parallels to our world and our society. It feels very up to date even today. So the writing is top-notch, 5 stars here. Artwork. Ross to me is the man who brought painterly panels to the mainstream. I mean, he literally paints his panels. And, you know, they're just a joy to look at. It's more like you're flipping through an art book than an actual comic book. I knew this was going to be great visually, and I was not disappointed. 5 stars here. Digital enjoyability. You don't need to zoom, thankfully, because if you do zoom, it really breaks up the composition of the pages and the flow of the story. Also, there's a lot of blurring and artifacts when you zoom. So thankfully you don't need it, so it stays at 4 stars. Otherwise, I'd have to go down to 3 or maybe even 2. Value for money. This is considered one of the great books out there, and for very good reason. You know, it's an excellent read. The story just grabs you. It's fascinating. It's a study of the human character. The artwork is amazing. And, you know, it's going for about $10 most of the time, but when you get it on sale, you can sometimes even get it for $3.50. So I'm gonna give the value for money 5 stars. So there you have it, that's my review of Marvels. Please like and subscribe, check out one of these other videos. Also, if you want to get Marvels, I've left you a link down in the description below. I'm David Marcel. Thank you for watching my comic book obsession, and I'll see you next time.